Welcome back to another episode of We Roguelike It. We're talking about another show, and I almost accidentally did that. Featuring a brand new intro song from Musum. Thank you very much, Musum. We sent over a whole bunch of our favorite roguelike tracks, and my email started out by saying, "There's not really a theme here," and then by the end was, "There's very clearly a theme."
Dour, depressing.
Yeah, the Binding of Isaac soundtrack.
Yes.
So Musum did a great job and knocked that out very, very quickly, and I think it's fantastic. So, as always, credits to Musum, and I just remembered I'll have to update the show notes to reflect his stuff, but go find him at jbaudio.net. His stuff is great.
Yes.
But here we are with week 3 of Sunless Sea. Let me pull up my Sunless Sea notes here, even though it's one sentence. How much did you play this week?
I think I probably put maybe about a good 3 or 4 hours into it, and as we previously discussed, those 3 or 4 hours felt like 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, this such a good concept.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a great concept. I like the different blendings of things in this game, but my word, is it slow.
Yes. Yeah, it's just glacial.
I just bought an engine upgrade for my boat, and I'm like, oh, wait, no, it's still slow.
Yeah, just a little less slow.
I did, however, get the submarine stuff running, and I did start exploring the underwater docks and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm making progress in the Church of Stories, or whatever it's called, which is the lower Barnet one.
Right.
Which you need to get port reports from all of the underground stuff, and then use that to increase your reputation. I don't even know. I just go in, I talk to people, and I hope that eventually I find where they need to go. Because
start with a port report and then figure something else out.
Yeah, because it's the biggest issue I have with this game, and it's an issue that seems to have been there since we started playing it, is it's just not clear on objectives.
Yeah.
There is no clear logbook for your objectives, despite the fact that you literally have a logbook.
Yeah, that's your menu, is a logbook.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been one of the things I've been most surprised about in this game. Is like, oh, perfect, I have this book and all these tabs and all this info and these little pictures and notes, and it is incomprehensible.
Mm-hmm. I don't... Honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, you could have just done with a tab of, like, current objectives.
Yep.
And as someone who has recently been watching the Shenmue Endurance run, how is it that Shenmue did a better objective book than this game did?
Right. What world are we living in?
Like, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun. I'll probably keep playing it, but it's probably gonna at this point, because it's kind of grinding me down a little bit now.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games where it's just like, I just need to take a break from it for a while.
Yeah.
I need to walk away and then see how I feel when I come back to it. Because I'm just struggling with the speed.
We are beaten down and defeated.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week again, playing Massive Chalice and this at the same time when neither of us are in the mood to do so is kind of killing the excitement for this game.
That's when the show becomes a little bit more work than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'll keep playing it. I just probably won't focus play it like I do with so many other games. Like,
right.
It won't be a case of I am going to play this game until it's done. It'll be more of a case of I need to play some Strike Force. I think I'll put Sunless Sea on for a while.
Yeah. The only thing I did this week was I fired up my my save file. I was working on the Father's Bones quest, which was like what do they call the overall objective? Not a legacy.
No, it's not.
There's a specific word for it where it's like you pick one of the 5 ones at the beginning, and I picked Father's Bones because I tried it once before and it seemed like a cool quest that sort of took you all over the place. And my next objective was that I had in my notes was, you need to go over to whatever that King Mason's Hold or whatever, the one where you have to go talk to an underwater king of like the mer people.
Yep, I know the one you talk about.
Yeah, and you can request an audience with the king, but I didn't have enough stories or like secrets or whatever to get to talk to him. So it's like, okay, you know what? I'm done. I'm done with you, Sunless Sea. This is where you've broken me. I went back to London and I retired my captain, started a whole brand new run, and took off from Fallen London. I'm like, oh my god, the speed.
Yep.
Please God. So, a little bit behind the scenes, Moonpair and I talked last week, and this is the last week for Sunless Sea for us, because I personally, I feel like I have gotten everything I wanted to out of Sunless Sea by having that one good run.
Yeah, I mean that's the run I'm on right now. Is that one good run? It's like I started with a brand new map and I've already done so much exploration in it. I've done so many different quest lines. My biggest problem with the game is you collect things as currency essentially. So you collect stories as currency. So the problem you have is there is 15 different types of stories and you don't know which one you're going to get. There is the memories of a distant isle, memories of the surface. Recent news. Z stories. The something, whatever it is, relic, which is the skull thing. It's every single... You have the chance to get those every single time you go to port, but you don't know which one you're going to get. Yeah. So if you're specifically looking for, like, right now to do something, I need 7 Z stories. But in order to do that, I need to go around and collect the Z stories. But I don't know which option I choose any time I go to port is going to give me a Z story, if any. So it becomes this just constant wandering around, all the while chewing through resources and fuel and trying to make sure I've got enough money to stay supplied. It's interesting, but I think something we discussed was there was the Fallen London text game or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Then there's this, and then they're working on the sequel to this. I'm very interested to see the sequel, to see if they fix some of these issues.
Yeah.
Because if they can fix, like, a lot of the biggest hurdles that I have with this game, then it will be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Like, I think it has the potential to go down as one of the great roguelikes. I think they missed the mark with this one.
Yeah, and so many of the choices feel very much like this is our first game, or this is an early game in our studio's history, and like we put it together, and late in, let's say, I don't know, but late in the development, we really just put too much stuff into the objectives tab, and I wish we could have done it better, but we would have had to make a new game, and we did that with Sunless Skies, and I think you're right. To boil down Sunless Sea for me is a game I really, really, really like. Almost all of it. Like, I love the world building and the style is cool, and I love the pictures that you get when you're running into new stuff or you're running into new... The artwork is fantastic. The writing is of course the standout there. It's just the actual playing, the gameplay, the literally playing the game that is so... It's not even that it's bad, because it functions well. It just the speed of it. That I'm with you. I hope in Sunless Skies that they make you start out with a game that's just a little bit snappier, or even if it's still the same speed, fix the objectives tab. I'll be fine. But
a more clear definition of where you're supposed to go for each particular thing. Because right now I've got like 15 or 20 memoirs or whatever they are, which is stuff that doesn't take up hold space, which is people who need to go places. I've got 2 people in my hold who need to go places who are not the weird...
Claymen or whatever?
They're not the Claymen, they're not the weird vendor blight people.
Oh, right.
Why are those people not in the hold rather than in the memoirs?
Right, like why can't I go talk to them and they're like, I need to go to vendor blight. Oh, right, okay.
What's the difference between those? And Why can't you just like give me like I just looking for a page saying places I need to go right now,
Yep.
location, who needs to go there.
Yep.
You know, it would be real interesting to see if someone could mod this and just add that page in,
Right.
and how much of a difference that would make to the game itself would be very interesting. But yeah, I want to keep playing this, but I want to keep playing it at my own pace because, like we've mentioned it before, doing the shows, both the main show, this Binding of Moonpeel, whatever, all of the shows, they are work.
Yep.
It's just how much it feels like work is affected by all of the little things.
Right.
And this is a game that when I was loading it up this week, I felt so much like work.
Yeah, I kept hovering over the icon on my PS4, and I was like, oh, I don't...
I had this, I've been playing only this on my PS4 recently. So I put my PS4 into rest mode. I'd come back home the next day, switch on my PS4, and then it would immediately pop up into the pause screen, and I'd just be like, I think I'm just going to watch Giant Bomb for a little bit.
Right. Yeah, and I think you have a good point that I'd like to continue playing it. I put it in my roguelike folder on my PS4, but I think I'd rather do like one serious run a month as opposed to 3 a week.
Yeah. I mean, I want to keep playing it, but I want to play at my pace, not our show's pace.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about our next game. We are a little bit of programming notes here. We're running into our end of the year stuff. If you're a brand new listener, or maybe you've forgotten, we take 2 weeks off at the end of the year. Don't worry, everything except for We Roguelike It will still come out. Everything is fine. But we're going to be taking a break from this show just because of the week-to-week nature, just like we did with Binding Moonpeel last year. So in a rare move, we've actually picked our next game to make sure that we have something that's kind of light enough that we're not going to get super into it and then take 2 weeks off. So we chose Riddled Corpses EX, came out for PS4, Vita, and Xbox One. Moon, you played this a couple months ago, I think, when it came out.
Yeah, I received a copy from, full disclosure for people, I received a copy for free from Indie Gamer Chick on Twitter, and the game is kind of blew me away. Yeah. It's something I've mentioned before about this game. It's very simple. It has roguelike elements to it, but it's a game that, to be honest, it's a good palate cleanser.
The polar opposite from Sunless Sea.
Yes, I think it would be a nice, good, take us the closing stretch to the end of this year and allow us to start something fresh next year. So it'll work out pretty nicely. Yeah,
we were originally going to only play this for 2 weeks because we thought Sunless Sea was going to go for 4, but we're playing this for the next 3 weeks. You know, maybe seriously, maybe not. You know, it's a, like Moon said, it's a bit of a palate cleanser, and then at the end of the 3 weeks here, we'll have the randomizer pick our next game for when we come back, and then we'll start on something brand new after that. So our next game is Riddled Corpses EX. Don't be surprised by the album art, icon art for this game.
Try to ignore that.
Yeah, it is not indicative of the game's style for some reason. But as always, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week.
Bye.